Hello everybody, how are you? Hello everybody, how are you? It is time to start our day. It is time to work and play. Hello everybody, how are you? Hi everyone, welcome back for Monday Morning Circle Time. It's our last Monday morning together in the month of January. Let's get right in and look at the date back here and see how close we are getting to the end of the month. Like I just said, it is the month of January. Can you say that with me? January. And today is the 25th day. It's number 25, and that looks like this. A 2 and a 5 right next door to each other. The 25th of January, and it's Monday Morning Circle Time. That makes the day Monday. So today, can you say this with me? Today is Monday, January 25th, 2021. If today is Monday, yesterday was Sunday, and tomorrow will be Tuesday. Now here's a little tricky one for you. If today is the number 25, what number was yesterday? Here's a hint. What number comes before 5? Let's count to 5 together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 comes before 5. So right before 25 comes 24. Yesterday was 24. One more. If today is 25, what will tomorrow be? What number comes after 25? Let's keep counting. 4, 5, then we get to 6. So just like 6 comes after 5, 26 will come after 25. So tomorrow will be Tuesday, January 26th. We are still looking at the numbers 11 and 12, but we've already practiced writing them, so we'll come back and do another number next week. We are finishing with the color blue and the shape of the rectangle. This week, our letter is P. You see that picture? Picture, that's a P word. Do you see that picture? That's a picture of a pineapple. Pineapple starts with P. Put your hands on top of your head if you like pineapples. A lot of people like pineapples, don't they? Put your hands on your shoulders if you like pineapple on pizza. Anybody like that? I'm just putting my hands here. I don't really like it. Does anybody like pineapple on pizza? Some people do. Some people do. Today we're going to talk about a word that starts with the letter O, which was supposed to be for last week. But we are going to be saying a lot of words with it. So when we do, here's what we're going to do. Let me show you. We're going to have what's called a word wall. Since we're talking about the wrong letter today, we're talking about the letter O, anytime that we're talking about this and we say something that starts with the letter P, we're going to try to remember to write it down on our word wall and see how many P words we can come up with. If we're going to write it down, we have to know how to write the letter P. So let's practice writing it together. Do you have your letter P page? If not, you can run and go get it and come back with a crayon or a pencil or whatever you're going to use. If you don't have a letter P page, you can use any piece of paper. I'm going to start right now. Piece of paper. I lost my pen. Here we go. You know what? Let me grab this one. You'll see it better. Piece and paper both start with the letter P. So we're going to start our word wall right away. Any piece of paper will do. You can also just use your finger and do it in the air or on the table in front of you or on the carpet in front of you. Anything will work. You don't have to have a marker. You don't have to have your P page. Did it again, page. That's another P word. I think we're going to have a lot of P words on here by the time we're finished. Okay, how do you draw a P? A P, you start at the top for the uppercase and you make a straight line down. Then we go back up to the top and we make this little bubble just at the top part though. Notice it doesn't have another bubble at the bottom and it doesn't have a big bubble that goes from top to bottom. It starts at the top and it goes to the middle. That's how you draw the uppercase P. Lowercase p, exactly the same. Exactly the same. We just start in the middle of our page instead of at the top. So we're going to take our straight line down again. We're going to go back up and we're going to make another little bubble. Uppercase and lowercase p. Let's practice without that part, writing our P up here. When you use lines, you start at the top line. I'm doing the uppercase one. You start at the top line and come down to the bottom, and you bounce back up. And this time our bubble goes to the middle line, that dotted middle line. when we make our lowercase p, like I said, it's exactly the same, but we're going to start in the middle. We're going to start at the dotted line. So I'm going to put my marker that I'm using right there on the dotted line, and I get to go below the lines. P is one of those letters where we get to break the rules and go below the lines. So I'm going to go below the line. I'm going to bounce back up to the line, and I'm going to make my little bubble. Uppercase P and lowercase p, and here are mine. Now the thing that I thought was funny about my uppercase P and my lowercase p when I found them, usually the uppercase letters are bigger. Look at mine. My uppercase P is smaller than my lowercase p, but uppercase and lowercase. Now, I like P week. I got to pick another P word. My very favorite food in the world to put up on our board. It's a picture of, can you guess? What's a P word besides pineapple? What's something else that starts with the letter P that we eat? Pizza. Who doesn't love pizza? I do know some people that don't love pizza, and I don't understand that. Pizza is just the best food on the planet, next to one other one that starts with a P, and I'll put that up here in a second. I'll write our word. There is my pizza. Though it's not just a pizza, we call it a pizza pie, another P word. Pizza pie, P-I-E spells pie. There is another P word that is probably my other favorite food, popcorn. Popcorn. Popcorn has two P's in it, one there, just like paper did. We already have 6 P words, and we're just getting started. Our word wall is going to get filled up, I think, if we keep paying attention. So that's the letter P. That's the last letter we're going to learn in the month of January. We'll find out what February brings for us when we meet together again next week. Now, like I said, we're going to talk about something that starts with last week's letter, but that's okay because we're going to get some P words in there as well. We're going to talk a little bit about oceans today. Oceans are what? What are oceans? They're made of water. Oceans cover most of our earth. Let's take a look at this. When you look at this globe, this is kind of a picture of our earth. You can see all the blue. That's the water. That's the oceans. Look at that. There's some land, but then again, more ocean. More land, more ocean. Ocean on the bottom. Ocean up here on the top. There are oceans everywhere. So much water on our earth. But there's something even, I think, cooler than just how much water is ocean on our earth. Did you know that most of the oceans themselves have not been explored by people yet? I find that fascinating that at this point, when we've looked at most of all the earth, we've looked at all the land, we've looked at all these things, there's a lot of water, bodies of oceans that have not been explored by man. For one reason, some of them are just too deep. You cannot really get down to the bottom of the ocean to explore. And they're vast. That's a new word for us. They're vast. That means that they're all over, like we just saw on the globe. So it's a lot for people to look at. Did we write people down? That's a P word. Let's write that down. Before we continue learning about oceans, let's go back to P's just for a second. I forgot to show you how to use sign language to do a letter P. I like to think of the sign language P as my fingers walking. It's kind of like you put your fingers down like this, and you put your thumb. You have these two fingers, and they're walking along, and your thumb is in the middle like this, and you're just kind of walking along. That's how I like to remember it. That's kind of a harder one. It's a harder one. I don't know if I could turn it that way for you to see. It's a harder one to get into position. Position. Another P word. Anytime you hear me say the sound P, that's a P word. Position. And we're going to write it down. All right, back to oceans. Are you ready? I have a song for you. There are 7 continents. We've been learning about the continents. There are 7 of those. Show me 7 fingers. You could do 5 and 2. You could do 4 and 3. Well, there are 5 oceans. Show me 5. You can do 5 on one hand. That's a whole hand. Or you could do 4 and 1. Or you could do 3 and 2. Let's learn a song about the oceans. It goes like this. There are 5 oceans, oceans, Pacific and Atlantic, Indian and Arctic, southern too. Did you hear the P word in there? The first ocean I said, it's called the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is one of our P words. Let's sing that song one more time. Ready? There are five oceans, oceans, Pacific and Atlantic, Indian and Arctic, southern two. So there are 5 oceans that cover our earth. I want to talk to you a little bit about them today. I want to talk about what they're made of, who lives in there. So the oceans, like I said a moment ago, are very, very, very deep. When you get down to the bottom of the ocean, there is no light at all. Close your eyes as tight as you can. You probably still see a little bit of light. If you're in a bright room, it might be creeping in. You might just see some behind your eyelids there. But when you get down to the bottom of the ocean, there's nothing. You can't see anything. It is dark. That part of the ocean is called the trench. But there are creatures that live down there. And here's a picture of one if you can see it. That one is called tube worm. Can you see that? That's a tube worm. I think those are pretty funky looking. Okay, then as you work your way up through the ocean, that's the bottom zone, the bottom layer. Let's find out what the next one is. You ready? The next one, oh look, it's a little bit lighter. It's not as dark now, it's getting a little bit lighter. This one's called the abyss. And this handsome looking friend here is an anglerfish. Look at him. Is he handsome? I don't know. He's called an anglerfish. That's one of the sea creatures that you might find in the abyss zone of the ocean. You ready to see the next one? Let's see what comes next. Do you think it's going to be a lighter color or a darker color? As we work our way up through the ocean, do you think it gets lighter or darker? It's getting lighter, isn't it? So here is a little bit lighter. This level is called midnight, which is kind of funny because you would think midnight would be the darkest one, but this one is called midnight. And I bet you know who's that creature that lives in the midnight zone. That's an octopus, isn't it? You can find them, octopus, in the midnight zone. Let's see what's next. We're getting lighter still. We have 2 more zones of the ocean to go. This one is called twilight. And on this zone, you might find some eels. That's a wolf eel right there. You might see some eels. I'm going to actually say that's an angry wolf eel. Look at his face. I think he looks kind of angry. Do you guys think so? So how many zones do we have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4. You ready to see the last one? The last one is the lightest one. This is the one at top, and it's called sunlight. And look what creature we might find in the sunlight zone. A dolphin. So let's count them one more time. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From top to bottom, the zones of the ocean are the sunlight zone, the twilight, midnight, abyss, and trench. Those are some different creatures, or some different zones of the ocean, and different creatures that you might see in there. I have with me today some actual real things that were taken out of the ocean for you guys to see. Some things you might know, one thing you might be kind of surprised. This one, you know what this is? I bet you know what this is. This is a starfish. Now last month, the star was our shape. Do you remember how many points we had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 points. Now I'm going to touch it and see how it feels. When I'm exploring something new, I like to use my different senses. I'm going to use my sense of touch first to see how it feels. And I'm sure you can probably see, do you see all these little spikes on here? It feels very rough. It feels very bumpy. Those are words I would use to describe it. I'm looking at it with my eyes. That's another sense I am using. And I'm seeing, I guess you would kind of call it kind of a brownish, yellowish color that it looks like. But look at this one. I have another one here. And that one's white. But let's focus on this one for a minute. So it's kind of brownish and yellowish. Let's see, I've used my sense of seeing and my sense of touch, my sense of hearing. There's nothing to hear. It doesn't make any sound. So it doesn't, and I'm not going to use my sense of taste. I'm not going to taste it. How about my sense of smell? Should I try with my nose? Let's see. Doesn't really have a smell. So I only really needed 2 senses to explore my starfish. Now I also have a magnifying glass. And if you have one of these at home and you have some seashells at home, I say get it out. Look up close to them. Look at that, how it makes it so much bigger. It's very cool. You can really take a look at all the different things very close up and see what they're made of. Now, if you want to make your own starfish at home, you can ask your grown-up if they have any sandpaper. That would be a good way to make it because it's rough and bumpy. And they can help you draw the shape of a star, and you can cut it out, and then you can decorate it however you like. So that's one thing I have. Now, this next one is the one that you might be really surprised to find out comes from an ocean. It's kind of small, but you might be able to tell what it is. And you probably even have this in your own home. Anybody know what this is? Maybe if you help mommy or daddy with the dishes, help your grown-up wash the car, maybe even in your own bathtub. This is a sponge. You know that you can get sea sponge. Most of the sponges that we buy in our home, they don't come from the sea. They're made in factories and places, but you can buy sponges from the sea. Sponges do grow and live in the sea. And this one was, and what I like to explore about sponges when I get my magnifying glass out, are all the little pores in their little holes. You can look right through them and see. Isn't that neat? Maybe you have some shells around your house. If you do, ask your grown-up if you can get them out and if you can take a look at them. And then you can get your magnifying glass out and you can check them out even a little bit closer. Use your senses. See if they have any smells. Don't taste them, that would be yucky. You can feel them, you can see them, and you can use your sense of hearing to see maybe there is something to hear. I'm going to leave you with a couple of projects to do. Like I said, you can get some sandpaper and you can make your own starfish. If your grown-up doesn't have sandpaper and you happen to have a piece of paper, you can ask your grown-up or somebody to help you draw a star, cut it out. Then, if you have any sand at home, maybe your grown-up has some sand. I have a baggie full of sand here, and this is actually sand from a sandbox. After you cut your star out, you can brush it with some glue, and you can pour some sand on it, and that will stay on there, and then you can make them rough and bumpy. If you don't have sand, I have some gold glitter, kind of looks like sand. Something else you could do, if you have maybe graham crackers or some other kind of cracker, you can take the crackers and crumble them up and pretend that that's sand and put that on there. Those are some choices. Another thing that I want to leave you with to do, as I said before, at the bottom of the ocean, way down in the trench down there, there are living things that have never been seen and never been discovered by people. So I want you to use your imagination. There are sea creatures we don't know anything about. What do you think they look like? How many tentacles do they have? How many fins do they have? Do they have tails, like my friend Zuni here? Do they have ears? Do they have fur? What would a sea creature look like that's never been discovered? I want you to get your journals out. Pardon me, Zuni. She's going to help me out here. I want you to get your journals out, open to your next blank page, and create your own sea creature. What does it look like? I want to see it. Maybe you even put a little glue and sand on that. Who knows? It's your own design. You get to decide what those creatures look like that we have never seen before. Maybe draw some ocean around it and draw your sea creature and share it with me on Facebook. I have had a fun time talking about oceans and the letter P, and you know what? I got so excited about oceans, I probably missed some P words. But let's take one more quick look at the P words that we had up here. We had peace, paper, page, people, Pacific, pick, pie, popcorn, position, and of course, pizza. So obviously the letter P makes the P sound. Have a great P day, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.